Hi, my name is Jason Huval. I'm the broker for Central Metro Realty. We're a firm based here in Austin, Texas, but we broker throughout the state of Texas. And today I'm going to talk about this appraisal addendum. It's not a brand new form. It's been around for a while, but given the climate right now, I'm getting more questions from our agents about this form. It's highly competitive for buyers in this market. This is definitely a seller's market, especially in the Austin area, but throughout the state of Texas. We're having a lot of folks flocking in from other states, and it's driving prices up, but it's also making it very competitive on the current inventory for these buyers. So this form is a means for buyers to make their offer a little more attractive to sellers. And so we're going to go over it here briefly. Anyway, so this is a TREC Form 49-1 or Texas Realtors Form 1948, if you're looking for it. And it's the Addendum Concerning Right to Terminate Due to a Lender's Appraisal. It has three different options. This is, and so kind of skimming through this thing here, and then I'll go into more detail, but this is not valid for FHA or VA, and it has that right here on the top. They have their own appraisal addenda for those loans. But the first option for this is a waiver. This is a complete waiver, and I'm going to give you kind of the cliff notes here. So this is a complete waiver. This is if your client makes an offer, and we're going to use easy numbers. Let's say it's a $100,000 house, and we're offering over asking. So we're offering $110,000 for the house. The appraisal comes in at any number, $80,000, $50,000. Your client is willing to make that difference up from the contracted price to what the appraisal comes in at. So to repeat that again, let's say we have a house, the contracted price on the home is X, let's say $110,000. And the appraisal comes in, whatever the appraisal comes in at, let's say it's $80,000. We're going to make up, our client is going to make up a $30,000 difference. They're going to bring that cash to the table. So your client needs to be fully aware that there's a chance they're going to have to bring cash. And this is where you're going to, I'm sure you've done your homework as a buyer's agent, make sure you have an idea where the property should come in at based on the comparable properties in the area. But that's what this waiver is. This option is a complete waiver. It doesn't matter what the appraisal comes in at. We're willing to pay the difference. We want to get this property, which is very favorable for a seller. They'd like to see that. That's a really strong offer. It helps strengthen your offer. But again, it has the risk. You have to make sure the client understands the potential implications and that they have enough cash to make it happen. The second option is a hybrid, right? So now you have a partial waiver. So this is to say the value comes in lower. You're okay paying some of that cash, but you have your limits. So in this case would be, let's use our example from earlier, from the first one. It was, $110,000 offer on this property, but your client only has 30 grand in cash. I'm only able to make up the difference of 30,000. So let's do an $80,000 value. So if it comes in at 80 grand, I've got the 30 to cover the difference here. And I'm comfortable with that. And so that's where we're going to go. So on this, you're going to waive. If it comes in at 79,000, you're out. You don't have to make the purchase of this property. That's an out for your buyer. However, 80,000, if it comes at 90,000, anything above that, we're making this purchase and we're bringing in the cash. And to make sure that I've got this, I don't know if I mentioned that in the beginning, this is in addition to whatever terms you have with your lender. So if you're doing a 10% down loan, and the value that was based off, let's say our $110,000 purchase price, they were already bringing 11 grand into the deal to make it happen. Now the appraisal comes in at 80,000. The lender says, look, I'm only going to lend based on that $80,000 value. So that means you're still bringing the 8,000, your 10% down payment. You're bringing an additional 30,000 to get to that 110 in this scenario. So I want to make sure that that's fully understood too. This isn't just bringing the difference between the appraisal. It's also the dollar amount that you have as a down payment. It's still going to be the same with the lender. So our third option is really just kind of it's the way it's written is really confusing. I think it throws a lot of agents off, but this is kind of a reassurance that we want to make sure we're getting the value that we are comfortable with purchasing the property. Because there are some scenarios where a lender may not may still do a loan, but it didn't appraise where you guys are comfortable with, where your buyers or you as an agent are comfortable with, but it doesn't necessarily mean they won't do the loan. And so here you want to see a specific amount in the appraisal when it comes back. And so this one gives you the option for a finite number of days. So here we'll put buyer, I'll just read this top little paragraph. In addition to the buyer's right to terminate under paragraph 2B of the third-party financing addendum, buyer may terminate the contract within, we're going to put a number here, 30 days, however long your appraisals are running right now, 21 days after the effective date. And so here's where we set our dollar amount. The appraised value according to the appraisal obtained by the buyer's lender is less than X. And we have to give a copy of this to the seller. So let's use that same example. We have our $110,000 property. If your buyer says, look, it needs to appraise for at least $110,000, we write that here. Or I don't want to do the deal. And so I'd say it's somewhat redundant as to what we have with our financing addendum, but there are special cases where you may have a lender that'll still do a loan even though the appraisal comes in lower. Maybe they have different underwriting requirements or there's other terms. And so this is really peace of mind for you, for your buyer and for you as an agent. Say, look, we need to see this value or we're not interested in the property. We can walk. And that's where this gives you that option. So I think this number 3 is probably the most confusing one because agents are, what is this? What is this for? It's almost like a peace of mind, option. Like you want to see this certain dollar amount come in. Your 2 real big negotiating ones here. This waiver at the top is very self-explanatory. To me, it's kind of straightforward. You're waiving any rights. And the partial, again, a hybrid here where you're setting the value it needs to hit at least X for us to pay the difference. So I hope this was informative and helps you out in understanding and making strong offers and moreover, to be able to explain this to your client. Again, my name is Jason Huval. I'm the broker for Central Metro Realty. I really appreciate you watching. I am not an attorney by any means. I'm just a broker, and this is how I advise our agents to do things. Thanks so much for watching.